Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to this lecture of the deployment of a Palo Alto on the AWS. We have gone through the plan in the previous lecture. Now let's start with the deployment. Okay, so basically, as you know, we have four zones, like inside, outside, DMZ, and management. I mean, it's not a management, is not a zone, it's a different control plane, but based on the subnets that we have to create inside the VPC, right? So in that sense, I am just comparing zones with the subnets inside a VPC. So as I said, we will delete the default VPC so as to have the same setup as you would have, so that you will follow me easily, because if I use the default VPC, maybe things are different for you as well as me. So I'll start from the scratch. I'll delete the default VPC that I have and I'll create a new VPC. Okay, as you remember, we have the DMZ, we have the inside, we have the management, we have the outside. So we need four subnets. Okay, we need four subnets, and we need four, basically I will say 4 into 4 um, routing tables into 4 what do you say, uh, I mean, we cannot wish, I mean, it's not required to have 4 security groups, but let's use a couple of them. Okay, so let's start with the basically creating the VPCs, and then the subnets, and then the routing tables, and also 4 interfaces, right? Okay, so let's get started. So first thing we'll do, we'll go to the VPC. We need the VPCs are like a domain. Okay, so by default you should have one VPC. Okay, as you can see, this is my default VPC, so I don't need it. As you can see on the tenancy, it is saying default. So what I can do is, I don't need it, I can go and delete this VPC. So I'll click on this and delete the VPC. Okay, this VPC permanently and cannot be recovered. The following resources will also be permanently deleted. So what are the resources? The internet gateways, the security groups, everything. So I want to do this because um, uh, the thing is, I want to have a fresh environment, right? So that you guys don't um, have to worry about having something which I have and you don't have. So that we should be having the same things, right? Okay, if you delete this default, which you can't launch instances in this unless you specify a subnet in another VPC or create a new default VPC. Fine. So to confirm deletion, type delete default VPC in the field. So I am fine, I know everything will be deleted, so I'll just copy and paste this here and delete. Okay, let's wait for this. So I have a brand new setup here now without a VPC. I will create a new VPC. It is recommended, if you have the prod applications or prod setup, don't instantiate or spin up an instance in default VPC. That is the recommendation from the AWS itself. Okay, so that's why I deleted the default VPC. Now I'll create a new VPC. Okay, what is so you have the option of creating everything through the VPC, right? You have the what do you say, the IGWs, routing table, everything, but I will show you one step by step. So I'll say only VPC, and I'll name this VPC, let's say ZB Networks VPC. Okay, this is the name. Cider block I will keep as /16 192.168.0.0/16, and we'll divide this into /24s, and yeah, that's all. So we'll just keep the tenancy default, and I mean, you have dedicated tenancy and default tenancy. Default tenancy means you will be sharing this with other AWS users, and then I will click on the create VPC, and this will be created. Right now, on top of that, you basically need 4 subnets, right, inside the VPC. So how do you create that? you go to the VPC, click on this, okay, and to get this here, you just click on the services and then click on the star of that particular service that you want. For example, VPC is already on the starred one, you can see here, right? And like that, you can keep other services on this ribbon, right? Like ribbon thing. Okay, so let's go to the subnets now. Creating 4 subnets is our next task. So I'll create four subnets. Click on the create subnet, select the VPC. That is the VPC that we created. Only one VPC right now we have. Okay, name of the subnet. So this will be my let's say management subnet. Okay, availability zone you can just keep as default, no preference. Now the I mean IPv4 CIDR is this one, and the IPv4 for the management, as we discussed, is 192.168.1.0/24. This is going to be our management subnet, and as you can see, you have 256 IPs. And in Amazon AWS, basically, uh, 4 to 5 IPs are being used by the AWS itself, right? The 0 obviously being the network, 1, 2, and 3 is basically used by services like the default gateway, the DNS, and 1 is reserved, and the 255 is the broadcast, right? So those you cannot use in any I mean assigning those, so stay away from assigning those. Create a subnet, next one, click on this. Let's create the let's say this as inside, okay, and side address this IP is 192.168.10.0/24. That is what we have decided based on the plan, and then create subnet. So 2 subnets created. Let's go and create the third subnet. Name the subnet. Let's say this is our outside. Okay, this is going to be 192.168.20.0/24. Create subnet, and then another create subnet for the DMZ. Okay, I hope this is simple as of now, not too much complex, right? 192.168.30.0/20. We just follow along with me, and if I'm going too fast, pause the video, do it along with me. That is what I would suggest. Okay, so now when I go and expand this like this and remove the filter, so we have management inside DMZ and outside. Why doesn't the outside show here? Okay, we will just edit this. So based on the subnet, I can see this is outside, so I'll go here and edit the name. Okay, great. So we have management inside outside DMZ, correct? And based on this, we will have to go to the route tables. As of now, we will have only one routing table, which is this, correct? And if you go to the routes, I see that there is no, what do you say, a default route here. Now we need to add a default route here like this, but then we don't have the internet gateway here because we need internet connectivity. Remember, we will be installing or maybe instantiating a Palo Alto instance, right? And that instance should have internet connectivity because we will be accessing its management IP from the public internet, right? So we need a public IP there. For that, we need an IGW. So basically, um, to make it short, the subnets we had, right, in VPS, I mean AWS terminology, what we say is the inside and the DMZ are going to be private subnets, because these are going to reach the internet via my Palo Alto, and the outside and the management are going to be public subnets, because I will need the internet reachability on those, like to and fro, vice versa, right? My Palo Alto outside interface should have internet reachability. That's how my inside devices and the DMZ will be reachable. Okay, in and out, both to and fro traffic will be going through the outside, and also for the management, right? So I hope you understand, we need inside and DMZ as private, outside and management as public. So for these two we will be using maybe a single routing table, and for these two we will have separate routing tables inside and DMZ. So for I mean we will do that later, but first we need to create the uh, internet gateway. Okay, so we will go here and find the internet gateway. I think we are in VPC, correct? So we should have the IGW. Inside EC2, we will have network interfaces here. That's what we will have to create. But to create a, where's my VPC? Okay, here. So create a internet gateway, we will have to go to the VPC, and under the virtual private VPC you can see internet gateway, correct? We will create that and create one, and let's say this is ZBN IGW. Okay, and create. So this is done, right? And now we can attach this with actions attached to the VPC. Okay, VPC is my ZBN, attach it. Done. Now you go back to the routing table, you will see that in the routes still we don't have anything, but when we go and edit, earlier it was not showing anything. So we'll go and select a default route and select here an internet gateway, and when you drop down you see the newly created IGW. I mean, instead of ZBN I have typed ZNB, so we will have to live with it. Either I have to delete and create a new one, but I don't think we will have the option to edit the name. Let me go and verify that. Like actions, manage, detach. No, we don't have. If I click on this, I think we can manage the tag here. Yes, we will, and save it. Yes. So if I go to the routing table, should be updated automatically, because this is going to be a dynamic one, right? If I go and see this one, yeah, because that is using the ID, right? IGW ID, not the name. Anyways, so that is done. Now the big task, we will have to install an EC2 instance with the Palo Alto image, correct? So how do you do that? Multiple ways. Either you can go to the EC2 dashboard and click on launch instance, or you can go to the instance running page here where we don't have any instances. You again have a launch instance here. Multiple ways. I'll just click on launch instance, and then um, uh, you can go to the application and OS images, right? AMI is what we called what we call this in inside AWS. So you can just select here Palo Alto, and you should get multiple options from Palo Alto here from the Amazon this marketplace. Now you can go here quickly on the click on the AWS marketplace AMIs, where you can see 9,000 some. Okay, change to 25. Great. Now when I click on this, you will see all the Palos. Now you do have from other vendors as well, right? If you see from the Zscaler, you have two images. So these are the connectors, right? But we want specifically from the Palo Alto network, so we have only 7 options. Now Panorama we don't need, we basically need the next gen firewall, and that too with the license, not with the BYOL. I've explained this to you earlier. Okay, so you can so you don't have much options here, right? So you have pay as you go, which is what we want, and threat prevention, right, this one. And we can go with this one with the 24/7 support if you want that. Let's select on that. Now if you want to go through the details, you have the overview here, about the details that and the services that you get, and the total price, right, how much you will be paying. You can also go here for the pricing. 1.62 per hour for the VM. You will be paying to the Palo Alto, and then for the AWS resources you will be paying $0.216, and I think for the EBS volume you will be paying uh, per month less than a dollar. I mean less than tenth of a dollar. Okay, so this is what we want. If you want to go for the product details, you can go through it. You are getting all these advanced threat and URL filtering, wildfire, Google Protect, everything is there. So this is basically a VM 300 underneath the what do you say, the AWS, and we can click on continue, and I did select it. I was selecting this. Let's select, right. So we have selected this, right. You can see this AMI, and let's scroll down, and we can to make this a bit quicker, I would kind of go with a higher instance type with at least 8 GB. Yeah, I would prefer C5 to X large, but you can work with C4 as well. But for me, I think this is fine. And I see the selected instance type is not supported in the zone US East one. Please select this different instance type. Okay, we have the AMI, correct, and seems this is not supported here, so we will have to go for a different um, type of what do you say, instance. So I want to go for a compute. I think CD will be working here. Let me scroll up. Yeah, so I will go for, let's say, this one, 16 CPU, and oh, that is too much. This is also not supported here. mm, C5 and X large, C5 and X large. Okay, C5 and we have to use, so I will say C5N here, so that this gets, yeah. So I can go for 4 or 8 with 21. That is too much, but okay, let's go with 4 CPUs and this. And I have a key pair already created, this one, or we can create a new one. If you don't have, just go here, say the name Palo key, whatever you want, and then create key pair, and then it will get downloaded into your uh, downloads. Okay, save it for later. I'll be selecting the Palo Alto, this one, and on the network settings you will have to edit. And as we know, the first interface we want to dedicate it to the management, so I'll throw it in the management subnet. Okay, so I'll disable the auto assign public IP, because anyways we are going to assign a reserved elastic IP to this. Now you can have a new security group created with SSH enabled from anywhere, and HTTPS. That is what we are going to use for the instance. And then I will click on launch instance, and this is going to throw an error for the CPU. So I need to check what CPU is basically available for this region. So let me check with the C6. C6A2X large. Still it is not also compatible here. Okay, let me check with something else. M5X large. So we are in basically US East 1E, and I think there is the problem because of the management subnet that we created. Let me go back. I mean, I don't want this to be a problem here. So what we can do is maybe we can create a subnet in a different region. Okay, if I go back to VPC, go to the subnets, I just want to check if that is the issue. So if we go to say management, which was causing the issue, right? And if I scroll down, the availability zone is East 1E, and I'll go to the actions and delete the subnet. Delete it, and let's create a new one. VPC this, let's say mgmt, and the availability zone will choose US East 1C, let's say. Okay, and then the name is this, and then the is 10.0/24. Okay, let's create this. Sorry, it's 1.0. 10 is our inside, so this has been created. Now let's go back to your EC2. Okay, launch an instance. Click on launch, and here basically you will be selecting the Palo Alto, correct? Search AWS Marketplace AMIs. Nice, and we'll be selecting this one. Oh, and let's check this one also, what it gives. Okay, let me check this. Product details, you will get your filtering, global protect and all. Now we will go with this one. I'll select this and continue. Already selected this, I guess. Yep. So for the okay, okay, still I think there's an issue. Right, there's an issue. Okay, maybe the settings is on DMZ. Let's change it to management, and if I go up, yeah, now this is fixed. Okay, and then I will have to move my instances to okay, my subnets to the this basically this US is region, right? uh, okay, so yeah, we're back here. So the auto assign public IP disable, create the security group with these two default rules. I've edited the subnet, right? Availability zone is this one, so we will have to create, and yeah, the key pair Palo Alto I'll select. This is very important, and we will create a new one. and then launch the instance. Now till the time this is getting launched, let me go back. Now this can be applicable to you as well if you are in the same region, while if you are in different region you may not encounter this problem. But I would have to go and rectify my things here. So I'll go inside actions and edit subnet setting is there, right? Yeah. Can I change the zone? No. Okay, so you cannot do that. Let me go back inside actions and delete. I'll say delete, gone outside actions, delete, gone DMZ actions, delete, just so that I don't face any issues in the future, right? So that's why I've changed it all these subnets to the C, this one, US East 1 C. This is my DMZ, which is on 30.0/24. Correct, and submit. Now DMZ, now I have DMZ and management now inside and outside. And go back. Let's say this is inside. Preference is US 1E 192.168.10.0/24. Create. Now create another subnet which is going to be my outside. Name it. Scroll down. Change the zone to S1 US East 1C 192.168.20.0/24 is my outside, and create the subnet. So that is done. Now we will have to go to the routing table. It has the subnet, the default route pointing to the IGW, but I will associate two subnets here. Edit the association here and select the outside and management here and save the association. Okay, done. And plus I will create two new routing tables. If I go here, I'll say create, and I'll create one routing table for out RT inside. Okay, and select the VPC ZBN and create, and then I'll go back to the routing table, create another one, RT DMZ, select the VPC and create the routing table. This is the two things you have to do. Also, if you go to the each routing table, this one, let's associate the subnet. This is my inside and subnet association, edit and select the inside subnet on this one. And likewise, when you go to the route table DMZ, select the DMZ subnet there, right? Subnet association and is subnet. This is going to be my DMZ. Save. So if you go here, you should see on the routing table, you should see the explicit the subnet association, two subnets, and these are the two one each subnet on the inside and DMZ. Correct. So this is done. Now let's move to EC2. Now one more important thing is, if you check on this is still initializing, so it will take some time. Once the status check is mentioned as 2 by 2 in green, then we can move ahead. But for the time being, I want to show you the networking part. And if you go to the details of the interface that we have here, right, you can see only one interface, which is this one. I'll just copy this. We need to assign a elastic IP, which is a static IP in AWS, onto that interface, so that we have the reachability from the public internet. Okay, so I'll go here, and as you can see, we don't have any elastic IPs in our AWS account. So how it works is, if you want an elastic IP, you just request it here and you will get it instantly allocated to you but if you attach it to a instance or an interface, then you will not be charged for it. But if you allocate an elastic IP and then don't assign it and it's just lying out there in your account, you will be charged for it. So make sure if you have an allocated elastic IP, you use it. Otherwise you can just release the elastic IP. Okay, and I'll just click on allocate. So I'll get an elastic IP here, which is a public IP, static public IP. I'll just say associate the elastic IP, and I will associate it with my network interface, which is basically this one, right? And the IP you will see that you will get is 168.1.75, which is the subnet that we have selected for that um, subnet, right? The management subnet. Okay, once this is done, we will go back to the Palo Alto. Now Palo Alto has this interface attached to the management management interface, and automatically it is going to get the private and the public IP both, right? So this is the private IP, this is the public IP. If you scroll down up, sorry, you can see the private IP and the public IP. Now our um, instance should be reachable on this, but we will have to wait for this to initialize successfully. And if I go here and open a command prompt in my system and have a ping, continuous ping on this IP, and let's see when it gets starts responding, we will proceed ahead with the lecture. So for now I'll pause the video and continue once the instance is back. Okay, so now after waiting for a couple of minutes, I'll just refresh this and see. Okay, so we have the status checks passed, but I doubt that the pings will work. Yeah, reason being, there is a um, security group attached to this interface. If you see here, remember the security group. I'll just click here. We already have this security group, right? So if you click on that, we have not allowed the ICMP on this rule, inbound rule. We have only HTTPS and SSH. That is the reason only. So if I click on edit inbound rules, now if we select here, see nothing, right? And I click on this and say ICMP v4, and from, let's say, anywhere like this, IP anywhere, and then save rules, immediately this ping should start working. On the inbound IP, all ICMP IP on this. Yeah, if I do Control C and do this again, and now I need to check whether this is on my instance. Click on this. Let's rename this instance as Palo Alto NGFW. Okay, yes. Now if I go to security and I check the rules, I have all ICMP from this inbound on this interface, correct? Right, the security group is this one, and this should work basically. Strange. Anyways, let's not maybe the firewall has not initialized, right? Okay, so next thing what we need to do is go to the instance basically and connect to it, right? Now how do we connect to it is one of the process that I want to show you. First of all, we need the obviously the management IP, which is this one. Now for this putty to work, we will have to open up a program called puttygen. Click on that. Okay, and then you will have to load the key here. Yeah, so this is the key that I need, the key. Okay, make sure you have go to key and and the parameters for saving is ppk file version 2. Click on OK. Now save the private key, save yes, and save it as a ppk format, right? This one, and say this is palo.ppk, or you just say palo and ppk will be added to it. Just say palo and the save as type as ppk, and I will save it in my maybe in my documents in download. Okay, save it. So that is done. Now I will open the putty and open it like this. Copy this public IP. Okay, go here. Now you have to specify the username, which is admin, and the key, and keep as SSH. Now go to SSH auth credentials, browse, select the documents and the ppk key, Palo Alto key, and open it. Okay, if this asks for password, then that means that your instance is not initialized yet. Okay, so you will have to wait for some time, because they should not ask for password because we're using the private and public key. So if this is like this, you just cancel it and wait for some more time so that your firewall is initialized, and maybe that is the reason also why this ping is not working. So we'll keep this running and we'll come back after some time.